Thank you. This is quite a privilege for me, and at the same time, I apologize. I think our scheduled talk, what Kunal has scheduled once upon a time was last week, if I'm not wrong. But uh, I was being held up somewhere and I could not do it. So I thought that I should give some time. The commitment has to be honored, and here we are today. And honestly, I've taken leave for all of you that I should do some justice. So the thing goes first, let's say half an hour, 40 minutes I will talk, and then we can take some questions from all of you. Right, so very warm good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain Pranav, and today there's no PPT, nothing. I just want all of you to just relax. Because I know there would have been a lot of talking which would have happened till now, almost every day, or let's say almost in a week, 2-3 days you had been witnessing such things. Lot would have been spoken on the new normal and everything. So when we were deciding the topic, a lot of people would be talking about leadership, and I thought that you guys, all of you are from HR, so let us come to terms. Let us face each other. I can say a bit of elderly or a old HR talking to the fresh minds, and let's together discuss whatever the points were. And rather from leadership, I thought that let's talk leadership fatigue. That would be more relevant and more new. And then we will talk about driving people in performance. Yeah. This as a subject, I will try my level best to make it simple, and in case of any doubts or questions which you have, we can take it at the time of question and answer. Yeah, so the first one, the leadership fatigue. Ladies and gentlemen, I was a small kid, just a 12th standard kid, and one day I was just going through Times of India, and a beautiful word struck me. Until now, I could not, patent that word, because having seen it once upon a time for the first time, or maybe having, it was a love at first sight with the word. But this word was called Invictus. The meaning, it's a Greek word meaning the unconquered. And if you say whatever leadership, whatever we talk, this was, penned in a very, very beautiful poem by William Ernst Henley. And I'll just read this poem, just have these words very clearly in your head. I did not talk anything on leadership poster. So the poem, the Invictus, it talks, out of the night that covers me black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell's clutch of circumstances, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the burgeoning of chance, my head is bloodied but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years find and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll, and these two lines are quite my favorite. I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul. Beautiful lines, I was young to understand it. Went with the words, with the lines. Later I found out there was also a movie on this. I also saw the movie, beautiful movie. But anytime the word leadership, and when I joined army, anytime the word leadership used to come to me, this word used to hit my head, Invictus, the unconquered. Even my social media handles everywhere, you will find this word, Invictus, the unconquered. But these days, I see leadership. We HR people, we say that we create leaders and the leaders create the organization. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, it is a big responsibility for all of you, for all of us, right, to run the world forward today. Yeah, and when you will be, doing this, few words which I wrote once upon a time. I did when I cried, the whole world stopped to me, to me and mine. The head held high and the bosom blossomed, walking like a giant as I had done. So the HR stream, the human resources, I'll say quite a powerful stream today. Whatever is happening in the world today, in the midst of this chaos, you can say, or the unexpected thing which has come, HR is playing and will be playing a very strong role, right? Lot of things are being spoken very loosely. New normal, normal, not normal. I don't know, whatever this word will take us to. But this word is of leadership, and HR pushing the leadership is reverberating time and again. Now it is quite a responsibility. It is quite a responsibility. It is quite a ownership. If you remember till now, okay, we were talking about strategic HR business partnering. That word was coming very soon, very spoken very often, and coming everywhere. That's what this era would have seen that word. But today I am telling you, we are the creators. If I tell you, we are the creator of the leadership. And this time, honestly, if you go back, check whatever has happened last, let's say from March onwards, you will find a lot of companies doing a lot of things, right? Creating a lot of ripples, lot of examples. Many of them were booed also, right? But if I tell you, hey, just stop here, look back, and also try to understand the scenario, right? Whatever we spoke about the business continuity plan once upon a time, which was being rusted or dusted in the organization, today it is very much coming true. Whatever we spoke about, and this entire thing, ladies and gentlemen, happened in the thickest of the appraisal. Yeah. So it was nothing that things were so instantaneous, or it just happened with the flow. There was a lot of strong, attention and deliberation which happened in between. Yeah. So with this, as a prelude, if we dissect this thing of leadership, and still anytime we talk about the leadership, it is very crude, and that's what I mentioned. It is very crude. It is raw, and this thing comes from the era when the civilizations would have started. There was one guy who would have come and told that, okay, follow me. I will take you to the right land, to the greater land, and we all followed them. But with leadership being spoken and being focused so much, we forget a word called followership. Yeah, I remember till now in the corporate world, till now I can take this that with a lot of pride, that I worked with a lot of team members, almost about 20 of them, and I invest a lot of time and energy to develop them from the scratch, and that is beautiful. That is the reason, even if you see, I invest a lot of time that the academia today, whatever the best which we can do in this time where people are lost and we are trying to figure it out and how to tackle the unexpected. I try my level best, that I connect to the students and I say that, look, hey, things would be fine, don't worry. Only I can give you a sort of a direction and sort of that respite, yeah, that we will take care together, yeah. So with these small things, when I say that if I made a team of, let's say, 15 to 20 people, it was too pious, sacred, yeah. Invested a lot of time and energy, and it is very beautiful. It is a great feeling, Beyond the self-actualization, that, okay, now you are capable, or you are, you have come to that stature, in the case with God's grace and the blessings of the people around. Now it is a time to create people better than you, right? And beyond self-actualization, there is a term which is called transcendence, which is making someone better than you, and which we are doing it today, and all of us, it is our responsibility to do it whenever we come into the actual service, when you guys will become HR and will create leaders post that. But this energy, this intention, this initiative, when I see how it happens, this word leadership, yeah, or teaching, or making leaders, or teaching the new skills and all, which we did a lot of things in this era. Remember the last time when someone taught you the new skill? For example, someone threw in water and tried to teach you swimming, and you were gasping, for your breath, and sometime you felt that you will die, right? Or someone taught you how to cycle, right? And the person told you, holding from behind, maybe it was a brother, it was a dad, it was a friend, it was whomsoever, just told that, look in front, keep on pedaling, and I'm there behind holding you. Don't look back. Don't look back. And the person was running with you. You started pedaling, and you started getting the momentum, and the person suddenly left the, the, the cycle, right? And unknowingly, somewhere you got the hold of it and you knew how to ride. But some of us, with our that uncertain and confused mind, suddenly look back, and a deep fear or that nervousness struck us, and we lost the balance and we fell. Yeah, and then post that fall, we sort of got little bit of shocked or shattered, and maybe we shouted at that person that how can I trusted you so much, how come you left the cycle? And the person was smiling or laughing and told, this is how the teaching is done, because after some time you have to be taking care of yourself. But we were not happy. We were not happy, and maybe twice or thrice we did not try. Still we started seeing back, and we still fell. But later we acknowledged that this is how maybe the teaching is done, and then we focused in front, and we knew that art of bicycling or cycling, and it remains with all of us today. But we all, if I while I was telling you this, we all would have remembered who has taught us that this art. Yeah. And not only that, if you take a small kid, when we all started learning, our life started with straight lines. The mom and the dad used to put the thing with a big fat crayon or something. We used to just put straight lines. And ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, that is maybe the grade 1 or maybe Montessori 1 or 2 when you go there and you learn this. But as you go further, the straight line has to be gone into the cursive lines, right? And it is very difficult. It is very painful. We don't understand that. Generally, then the human hand is not used to doing that thing, right? And we get to learn that art. Why I am telling you this is, as you come to the organization, the entire teaching of such things will be done by HR, right? No one will guide you. It is whatever is they are teaching you in academia today. You will find that it is completely different what happens there, right? No one will tell you or teach you how to conduct the entire staff when such a crisis happens. We all will initiate and launch new initiatives. Some of that will be positive, some of that will be hit, some of that will not be. Government will suddenly come with some actions, and all of us, we are learning such things for the first time. So any new initiative, some of them will fail, some of them will pass, and but honestly, who leads at the end of the day? Any people initiative, any people strategy is led by the HR. But while doing so, and you will be always considered as a supporting arm. In army we have a fighting arm and a supporting arm. The supporting arm maintains and manages the entire thing. We ensure that the strategies are aligned, and we work closely with the business. But who runs the business? Let's say those operations or sales or marketing, or those guys who are the front-ended guy. You be a part of it, but generally whenever it says who is bringing the return on investment, of course you will not be considered like that. It gives you a very stepmotherly treatment sometimes, but that's how the life is, right? It doesn't stop, however, you from doing or from getting up the next day, gearing up and going to the office. However, that's how the thing is. But what I am telling you, in the entire thing of this leadership, yeah, and the 4 words sentences which I did what I mentioned. I mentioned the word called giant. And these words are also very, very chosen and very close to me. And if I define it says that to be a giant, this is forever been my passion, this desire to be a giant. Not to stand on one's own shoulders, but to have one for a dear friend. For these may be small things, but giants rise over fear. They triumph over pain. They push themselves. Their desire is to make giants, to make giants, to push the world forward. That's what we do, as a HR folks. So the leadership, the genesis, I'm telling you, will be starting from you. I remember, my army days. Once I was I was the only army guy at Jammu airport, and I not mention what things, we are not supposed to mention such things, but I had a very senior army officer, a lieutenant general. There was a mob outside the airport, and something happened, right? And I was just a lieutenant then, and it was my responsibility to bring order. But it is not my responsibility only. There were stakeholders involved. Anywhere you go, you have the CISF, BSF, you have the police. You have to work with all of them. So there was a big crowd waiting outside, and they were not happy. There was some agitation, and the lieutenant general comes to me and he asks me. He was a lieutenant general, and I was just a lieutenant. So he comes to me and he asks me that, okay, so Pranav, what is our next strategy? What should we do? And I was completely lost. So I could only tell him, can you just take a seat? I'll just come back. Yeah. And then, of course, I tried to align with all the stakeholders, came back and ensured that things are fine, and he took off. That's what the thing happened. But this word, I will come back, again, stuck to me from that day. And in HR, generally, you use a lot of many times, I'll come back. But here, when I see that coming back, generally, it takes eternity sometimes, right? But why I'm mentioning these terms to you is, the genesis of leadership will be starting from you. Maybe the MD of the company will come to you. Even you are at whatever level, maybe HR business partner, or maybe a small executive starting with. None of you will be making strategy from day one. You'll be the part of the smaller chunks, and it will take time to grow, and that's how it happens. But when we all are sitting there, we all feel that next day, you'll be in the center of excellence in making strategy for the company. It takes time. Generally, growing takes time. Expertise, it takes time. But of course, you are no less, but it will take some time. The maturity takes some time. So yes, this brunt of leadership, because it will come into you, and every time it will require that you push yourself to the next level, that the other person gets the energy and the motivation seeing you. Anything happens and they will see you and say, okay, what next? And the government gives some orders and they will think that you will have to know from A to Z what they are writing and what they have to do. But honestly, these things are not taught, but you will read it and you will understand it, and you will discuss with your, the lawyers or the legal things, and what are the repercussions in case if something, XYZ happens in the company, and what you have to do, right? So we learn together. Learning will continue throughout the life. But what I'm telling you, this brunt of leadership will be coming time and again to you. And many a times you will be tired of leading. Yeah. Yes, you have the leadership team, but even many times the direction is being taken from HR, like what next. Though they will never ask you in the operational or the business decisions, because though you will be working closely. Yes, a subtle involvement will be there, but the actual things in terms of the running of the company, the decision is yours. Yeah. But while these things, with the continuous leadership, you will face this thing of leadership fatigue. Now, no one teaches you this. Yeah. If I take you back, there was an episode in, I will not mention the company, a two-wheeler company, somewhere in 2004-5, yeah, in Gurgaon, and a lot of things happened. It was a completely, big issue, right? And the police came inside, and there was a lathi charge amongst the employees, and there was a big issue. Yeah, that was one case. There was one more case, again camouflaging. I'm telling you, there was a case in an OEM, a car making company, and the head HR was burnt. Now, why I'm telling you these things, that the situation can become awry. It will go to any level. Yeah, and this word leadership fatigue, you will remember then. Yeah, no one will train you how to sack a guy, maybe sitting in Chennai, and maybe you're firing a guy in North. No one will teach you this. If you guys have time, and I don't know, most of you are smarter than me, you would have seen that movie Up in the Air. If not, please go and watch it. Beautiful movie. So such things will keep on coming to you. Yeah, and you have to be learning it or creating it from nowhere. From nowhere. Yeah. Now this word, leadership fatigue, I will take you guys a little bit deep inside. Now the problem of a leader is to lead, and the problem of a leader is to lead always. I call it the curse of being Achilles. Yeah. But the thing is, we all are human beings. Whatever we call, we get tired. Yeah. Get burnt out. Yes. The working hours of 8 hours, or 9 hours or 10 hours, we get stretched. Generally, it becomes 14, 15, 16 hours. But still, it is not sufficient. Still, it is not okay. Yeah. Now, then in some portion of your life, this thing will struck very hard to you, leadership fatigue. Yeah? And it will be so tiring, it will be so killing, you will not know what to do. And neither anyone will give you any direction. So in this situation, ladies and gentlemen, my earnest desire or humble suggestion to all of you is, you must have a mechanism of release. Otherwise you will burst. You see in such cases when the stress happens and when the things doesn't go the way it should be going, what sort of decisions people take. But HR, cannot be behaving, because you will be, seeing you. Any issue will happen, people will come to you. MD will come to you, employee will come to you, and many times they just come to you also. You'll find that many times people just come to you just to talk, because they don't have anyone to talk. There are enough, initiatives in the organization. You have EAPs, Employee Assistance Program and all, but many times they are just associated with HR. Maybe you were the guy who were in the selection committee when the person got recruited. Maybe he shares that bonding more with you and he wants to talk to you, and maybe by then, maybe 5-6 years, you would have become at a higher level. Maybe people will be protecting him to come and talk to you. But it is your responsibility to talk to everyone and to connect with everyone in the case if they come to you. That is the first mechanism, and that takes time, and it will generally this crisis or fatigue or burning out will be coming to you. So in this entire mechanism, if you are in academia and you are just before the launching pad, you must find something called your release mechanism. It can be a very small thing like writing, reading, watching a movie, singing songs, dancing, running, whatever it can be, from a small thing to a big thing, or maybe going and conquering Everest, at whatever ways and fancies. We have our own mechanism of discovering whatever we want to. And it is only too limited to you. It is not to show people around whatever you are doing. It is only limited to you. And can it flush out the entire frustration, whatever you have? Because if you don't have this, remember the times in the future, currently you are seeing it, it will be tougher and tougher and tougher. And the way that, if you remember, that thing in physics, and I think 12th grade, they teach you the elasticity, and you have the elastic point. Beyond it, the shape changes, the point of elasticity if it is moved. So if you have not found that point in this portion of your life, that portion of life will be affected drastically. So my humble suggestion and request from all of you in this time, the future HR, is found that mechanism of release. And it will happen enough. You will sometimes feel that your personal life is not personal life. Your personal life is on the mercy of the people who are around you, because they expect you as a leader. Right? They will come with anywhere, and they will demand that you should understand them. Right? And also you are a very dicey bridge between the management and the employee. The policies which is there of the organization, right? You have to take that in full faith, right? And the expectations of the employee, and the directions of the organizations. It becomes very dicey sometimes. Yeah. In that mechanism, if you haven't found that release mechanism, you will crumble to pieces. You will break, and with that you will also have your personal problems, right? Post this, of course, the life will go from 1 to 2. You will be trying to settle down with your better half, and maybe it takes its own ways. They say that whatever 70-80% of the love which is created in the college doesn't sediment, right? So you will have sometimes your own breaking points, those Nautiyal songs and Jagjit Singh songs, will be becoming dearing to you. And in that portion, in the broken self, people will expect and demand that you should, recuperate and take care of them. So I'm telling you, no one understands that how good, bad, ugly mood the doctor is, but when the pain happens, the patient wants the doctor should take care of him herself and he should be cured in least time. So that's what is it. So this was my take on leadership fatigue rather. And with that also I'm telling you, you will have a team and the team will be looking up to you. So whatever happens beyond you, those closed door meetings of the organization committee or management committee and whatever the ifs and buts are being discussed there, but you have to be always up and shining in front of your team, right? So that adds to that misery of the leadership fatigue. And when I speak about these people being created, the transcendence thing, and I'm doing these days with most of the academia, trying my level best to bring that sense of corporate element which is not being taught, which only comes with experiential thing. People will come in the teams and people will leave, and they will leave you in the midst of the operation. So when I compare it with my army days, in army there is a small philosophy, a concept when we go for an operation. It is fire and move. We call it fire and move technique. So fire and move, and there are people who will be giving you cover. Yeah. So that is a strategy, and you have we work in small groups. That and the thing is chosen. It is so schematic that we never look back. You know that you move in front and there you will get the cover fire. Yeah. So your behind will be protected. Every time this. But when you come to the corporate, what I see here, many times when you fire and you look behind, there is no one to give you cover fire. So many times you die from the cover fire, from the fire which is coming. Maybe the person who is covering you can also fire, and plus the fidains and the militants who are moving around in your milieu of the entire thing will also fire at you. So this is what it is. So I give you a small sense here. I keep on mentioning, there's quite a humorous small anecdote which I keep on telling to connect the dots. So this guy is called Sambhu Sikari. Now Sambhu Sikari is a guy, he's a low level sort of hunter who catches birds. Yeah. So there is a farmer, he has got some parrots, the kid parrots, the small ones. And he gives them seeds every day, and he teaches them that shikari aayega, jal bichhayega, dana dalega, lob se usme phasna nahi. Yeah, that the Shambhu Shikari will come, he will put the trap, he will put the seeds. Don't get trapped. So the kid parrots became big, and they all mugged it up completely, and they were well versed in the accents. They were talking shikari aayega, jal bichhayega, dana dalega, log se usme phasna nahi. And one day Shambhu Shikari came, he put the trap, he put the seeds, and when the farmer came later in the evening, he saw that Shambhu Shikari is carrying all the parrots inside the trap. They are singing the song shikari aayega, jal bichhayega, dana dalega, log se usme phasna nahi, but all of them were trapped. So what is the essence is, whatever academy and whatever I am talking, we all talk and we all train and we all teach you, but when the time of calling will come, you will know everything but you will be trapped. My request, ladies and gentlemen, is whatever we teach you, whatever we tell you, change at least 2% to 5% in the internal, in the skeletal system which you carry. Otherwise, if you have to burn your fingers and only learn, generally that is the way millennials do. It will pain us, it will pain me. I have, of course, this is an investment. I have taken a day out from my corporate to give you this time. It pains us. And the love, affection and whatever we carry, with that grimace and pain, we let it go. And it's quite bad. It is a very bad feeling. Now with this, giving a pause to leadership fatigue and taking care of this entire scenario, we'll go to the other part of the talk, which is driving people and performance. Now, with leading the people, you have to drive the organization for the performance also. The entire performance management system is your baby, your child. Though the execution will be done by the so-called people managers, but of course, overall, all guardian or custody, it is yours. And we all are human beings. We all are people, right? And we all will be appraised too. Now, this beautiful year, 8 months have gone by. You see in what state we are in. All the KPIs and whatever which was disclosed, and there in what state 70% of the population will be sitting at home and working in this. Will the same efficiency and productivity will happen? It depends from the industry to industry, from domain to domain. But whatever we say and whatever we do, right, there will be a shrinkage of performance and the satisfaction level of the way the thing or the KPI should be going in the organization. So when we talk about people, ladies and gentlemen, always remember whenever the KPI and whatever is said, one is, okay, these are the driving mechanisms, but remember the real performance comes when the people buy in your KPI, key performance indicators, to the core. In this situation, those organizations are the organizations who have really created the vision, mission, and the control mechanisms for the organization, and every employee, the last employee, is living and is the byword of it. The plastics, the cosmetics doesn't work. The HR English or the organizational development English doesn't work. It is either the person feels it or the person doesn't feel. The employee feels it or the employee doesn't feel. And if he doesn't feel it, that's why I'm telling you the experience. Yeah, nothing changes. It is like coming out from the theater after watching the movie Bahubali. We all feel like Bahubali. But internally, if that experience or the feeling, it has not gone and trickled down, it will fade away. And one day, the opponent will come, you will fail. Generally, on a study of the research of Indian employees says that an Indian employee changes almost 12 to 14 jobs during his lifetime of age, whatever is there to work. And you keep on counting that how many years or how many jobs he has left and how many jobs he will leave or he will change. But when I see organizations, there are organizations where one employee has joined and he has worked for 30, 40 years also. He joined as a GET or a management trainee and he retires there from there as, let's say, a general manager or a HOD or head of department or maybe even MD many times by now. Now in such situation, in such case, what internalization or what that creating the core you as an HR did, it's quite a grave and quite a strong philosophy and initiative. It is beyond whatever is taught in the books, and whenever you go on the real-time scenario, it is like creating that relationship, heart to heart, right? If I say the closely, you can associate that as, and then generally people say that you are two people. Generally there is a split personality in most of us, rather than all of us. So one is the self which you are there in the house, and one is the self which you become in the office. Yeah, and they both are different. Maybe the house one is a very easygoing and very different guy, and maybe the person who goes in the office becomes very different, very professional. The behavior changes. Now, greater are the organizations who bring this thing. These days they talk about employee delight and employee satisfaction, very used. Customer delight to employee delight, and rather they are also talking about creating employee happiness. A lot of English being spoken, but really do we do that? Greater are the organizations and the greatest are the organizations who bridge these two gaps, and bring it to the least difference. So this is how people work, ladies and gentlemen, with whatever rewards and recognition of the plastic thing and the opportunity, career progression, global mobility or the best of the opportunities, you give it to them. But till the time you don't connect to the core, till the time you don't connect to the value system, till the time you have not understood each other. And the second, one thing is talking about the family. The second thing is the relationship, the relationship what we create, and the relationship with our spouses or the girlfriends or boyfriends which you have. It is that relationship of trust, of love. Yeah, it is that relationship where the heart is connected. The soul becomes one. Yeah, the soul connections we call it, twin flame or whatever. Are we thinking? We are. If that is done, this it is easy. You will tell whichever organization will perform to the core and to the levels, to the efficiencies which you have desired and dreamt of. Otherwise, it just falls. Yeah. So all the initiatives which will be coming, you know that it is really glued with a cement, or it is just with a saliva, and the thing which sticks with the saliva, it falls. Even a slow, easy-going breeze comes and you crumble and you fall. So that is about people, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit talking about the performance. The day someone created this analysis of speed is equal to distance by time, we all started running. And I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we started running like bulls. We never knew what is coming in front. We never enjoyed this course of our so-called running. Someone has quoted it beautifully. It says that this is a rat race, but even if you win the race, you will be a rat itself. But we kept on running faster and faster and faster, and sometimes competing with our own self and failing our own self. Yeah. We never knew that what quality of distance is covered. You just were more in terms of what is the speed, how much distance, how much money, how much how many likes. These days, of course, someone told me that things are measured in likes and followers and subscribers which you have. So in my own way, I'm very bad in such things, but still I'm also trying to plunge and do. But this is the worst. Do you think that your entire magnanimity of the person or the depth which you have can be defined as and those influencers, so much of subscribers or likings or followers? Do you really think that it really matters? For heaven's sake, ladies and gentlemen, let's be away from the world of plastic, because at the end of the day, be in your own dark side, or when you sit on those days of Saturdays and Sundays in the corner with maybe a drink, if you drink, or maybe in your own nothingness with whatever whims and fancies which people have, with a smoke or a drink or whatever. You feel you are there with you. All those chirpiness and all those engagements and all those plastic and all those drama and everything comes down at the end of the day sometime, and when the dusk is too dark and you are just with yourself, and it is all pitch dark, and then when you answer yourself, what remains with you? What remains with you? How many people you create? What all bad things which you do? How many sacrifices you did? What all comes from there? These are very, very small things which defines your sustainability and your satisfaction. And this is too simple. But it strikes you like anything. It will come to all of you. Days are not that very far. And this entire noise and chaos and sound, there is a deep secret silence which we all carry, and which is the real version of yourself. Yeah. So when we were talking about this entire thing, started from the performance part of it, because that is what thing materialism or speed, when I'm speaking about giving you the contentions there, how it gets connected. But remember, if there is an opinion or feedback given to you, it happens. We all get affected. Yeah, and whenever I take the session on performance management, and it all started, from the normal distribution curve, which we termed as a bell curve, and lately whatever we do, any performance management system will have only the references. Yeah, how you compare to someone else. There are a lot of research which has gone by, lot of things which is happening. From 4 level system, it has become to 5 level system, to 3 level system, to 360 degree, whatever it is, it will become. In the organization, till the time people are there, even there are 5 people, your performance will be measured in terms of what you are in comparison with others. Yeah, that's how races are designed. It is not that nowhere I can take a litmus test and I see that, okay, your capacity is 100% and out of that 100% you are giving 99%, so you are the best. And someone is, let's say, 300% and the person is giving 120%, so he is not the best. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen like that. Yeah. So it is like, somewhere in Facebook I saw that it is, if I have 100 rupees, and I gave you complete my 100 rupees, I had only one shirt, I gave you that one shirt. It is how much I care and love you, right? But nowhere it will be considered that. It will be considered that, did you give me an Armani or Versace? You will be considered from that. Your love and affection generally is measured with that. Yeah, that's how it happens in the organizations also. That, did you give me outstanding or not? Did you give me the best promotion? So everything best in the life should happen to me, and everything worst in the life should happen to you. That is the phenomenon. That's how we live in. Yeah, at the end of the year, it is what is your purchasing power, and the appraisal system at the end of the day defines that. But is it the thing, ladies and gentlemen? Let not someone's opinion about you, which is the opinion, I mean whatever we sediment as the appraisal mechanism. Let not someone's opinion about you be your reality. So if my urge is the first one which I told, that do you know your release mechanism, number 1. The second one I'll put first is, do you know yourself? Yeah. Do you know how arrived in your life you are or not? I tell everyone, ask a question, are you worth or you're worthless? If you're worth, it is good. If you have the purpose and everything defined in life, well and good. If it is not, then please go and define it. Please go and work for it. Please go and push yourself. See, this is how peoples are made. This is how employees are made. Right? This is how professionals are made. This is how organizations are made. And this is how a generation is made. And this is how a country is made. Right? So there is no shortcut, regarding it. And with this last, if I have to tell you, last thing, it's not that I am a religion-oriented guy or something, but I tell you, I carry again these words from Gita. That thy right is to thy karmanyavadhikarasya. Thy right is to thy work alone, but never to the fruits of the work. Let not the rewards of action be thy motive, nor yet be attached to inaction. Do the work the best you can. Yeah. When I was mentioning 17-20 people I created and I'm creating, I know that it never sustains. It will never go. But even 1% the thing changes in your life, it will be sufficient for me. If you are doing great job somewhere, sitting somewhere, and you may say that, Pranav, this changed because of you, I'll be somewhere sitting in a corner, I don't know, whatever, in the best of my times, in the worst of my times, I'll be still very happy and clapping for any one of you or any one of those 20. That if this value addition I did in your life, I am blessed with the life which I was born with. Yeah. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, I'll take a pause. I am open for the questions. It is an honor to be with all of you. God bless all of you. Thank you.